Incredible mistake, CEO joins family group chat and reveals a life-changing message for everyone. Mark sat in his cluttered garage, grease-stained hands tinkering with an old engine, but his mind was elsewhere. The day had been long, barely a break to grab lunch. All he could think about was Lily, his 12-year-old daughter, and how to keep the roof over their heads during these troubling economic times. As he wiped the sweat from his forehead, the ping of his phone broke through his thoughts. He absent-mindedly added a contact to their family group chat. It wasn't until he saw her name, Kate Thompson, that his heart nearly stopped. He hadn't spoken to her in years. Unbeknownst to him, Kate, once the shy girl with big dreams, was now the CEO of a booming tech company. When Lily noticed the unusual addition, curiosity lit up her eyes. "Dad, you added Ms. Thompson?" Before Mark could explain, Kate's message rolled in, her words brimming with energy and charisma. "Hey, everyone. I just wanted to share this thought. True leadership is about being present in your community, uplifting those who are struggling." Mark's chest tightened. It struck a chord, igniting the frustrations he had buried under layers of pride. His heart felt like it was swelling and breaking at the same time. He recalled the days they spent in school together, her effortlessly climbing the social ladder while he was stuck in the engine grease, the long nights he sacrificed for Lily's future. Lily jumped in next, her voice fresh and hopeful. "Well, Dad's always working hard. Maybe you could help him with some fancy business idea?" Kate responded with laughter, "Count me in, Mark. We should catch up. Can we build each other up?" Laughter filled the chat, momentarily lifting Mark's spirits until reality crashed back in. The very next message revealed that Lily's school was facing severe funding cuts, threatening her education. Mark's stomach churned. "They can't cut music. That's her thing." He typed, frantic. The conversation turned serious, bouncing between the emotional weight of the impending crisis and moments of levity as Mark and Kate found their old camaraderie creeping back in. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. The messages became an unexpected support group. As they shared their contrasting experiences, Mark's pride battled with his desperate need for support. "I just want better for Lily. I've scraped and saved, but," he paused, fingers hovering over the screen. Would he allow Kate to see him vulnerable? There was a moment of silence before Kate replied with a simple truth, "Isn't it okay to reach out for help sometimes? I've realized that strong communities are built on trust and support." As the night wore on, Mark felt the steepness of their lives entwined, the invisible threads that had kept them apart now weaving them closer together. Through laughter and the occasional awkward silence, he found common ground with Kate. And just as Mark began to feel a flicker of hope, an emerging realization dawned on him: their stories weren't so different after all. Would he have the strength to reach out, to accept her help? Could this be the bridge that linked their disparate worlds? In that moment of uncertainty, Mark knew the way forward wouldn't be easy, but perhaps, just perhaps, Lily's future could shine a little brighter with a flick of faith and friendship. The night buzzed with possibility as the group chat crackled with new life, but one question loomed in the shadows: was he ready to cross the divide? Mark sat in the dim light of the garage, the chatter from his phone a soft glow in the darkness. This accidental reunion with Kate had unearthed something he thought was long buried. As he read Kate's words again, something shifted in him. Maybe this was more than just a casual connection, it felt like a lifeline. "Dad, can you tell Ms. Thompson about how passionate I am about my music?" Lily's voice broke through his thoughts, bringing him back to the present. Her excitement was palpable, each word like a sparkling note floating in the air. Sure, honey, Mark replied, forcing a smile even as a part of him wrestled with the uncertainty of it all. Could he really share his struggles with Kate? But the way she spoke of support rang true. Maybe it was time for him to drop his walls. Okay, wait a sec, Mark said, trying to muster the courage. He typed quickly, Kate, I know we've both been on our separate paths, but your message really resonates with me. Lily's music program, it's crucial for her. I just don't know how to keep it going with everything that's happening. There was an anxious pause, the dots circling on the screen. Mark's heart raced. Had he gone too far? He glanced at Lily, who had knelt beside a half-finished guitar in the corner, her fingers dancing over the strings. Then, Kate's response came in, clear and supportive. I get it, Mark. Education and arts funding is so important. I can help brainstorm some strategies to raise money or connect with some local businesses. Let's not let Lily's passion fade because of cuts. Mark felt the weight of that sentence lift something heavy from his chest. Here was this figure he had once seen as unreachable, now standing shoulder to shoulder with him. The doorway to collaboration opened wider with every word. Wow, thank you. That means so much, he typed, feeling a genuine warmth spread through him, a combination of relief and gratitude. Lily, overhearing, chimed in with unsuppressed joy. Maybe we can organize a concert. I could sing and invite my friends. This notion lit a fire in Mark. It was a simple idea, but the way Lily's eyes sparkled made him believe it could be real. Her determination felt contagious. I like that idea, Lil. And I bet if we gather some support, we could create something amazing. The chat took on a new rhythm, a flurry of thoughts exchanged about logistics, potential venues, and even suggestions for sponsorships. Kate was enthusiastic, guiding them on social media outreach and community involvement. With each message, Mark felt a little less alone. They were a team now, connected through the unrealized dreams of a girl with a love for music, and a father desperate to make it happen. It was beautiful and terrifying all at once. Let's get to work on this. I can't wait to tell my friends about it. Lily wrote, her energy infusing the chat with purpose. Just as Mark began to feel hopeful, reality sunk back into his mind. They still had to face the school administrators, the looming cuts, and all the hardest realities of making this happen. But a flicker of hope remained. Maybe asking for help wasn't such a weakness after all. Maybe accepting help was the strongest thing he could do for Lily. Then, as if sensing his resolution, Kate dropped a last message that made Mark's pulse quicken. Also, Mark, I'd love to chat with you one-on-one soon. There are some exciting opportunities I think we should explore together. That single line sent a rush of uncertainty flooding through Mark. Was this more than just business? A part of him wanted to say yes, but another part held back. What did it mean for his relationship with Kate? And more importantly, what did it mean for him personally? He was standing at a crossroads. One choice could lead to new beginnings, but which path would he take? The next morning, Mark found himself tossing and turning, a storm of thoughts whirling in his mind. The sunlight pierced through the window, outlining his bedroom in a golden hue, but it did nothing to dispel the heaviness in his chest. His phone buzzed beside him, a reminder that today was crucial. He needed to prepare for the chat he had scheduled with Kate later that afternoon. Dad, are you okay? Lily poked her head in, her face a mix of concern and curiosity. She was already dressed, her usual brightness a stark contrast to Mark's somber mood. Yeah, just thinking, he replied, forcing a smile that didn't quite touch his eyes. About the concert? She asked eagerly, her tone lifting ever so slightly. She had been buzzing with excitement since their brainstorming session. Yeah, that and other stuff, Mark said, trying to steer the conversation back to her passion. What's on your mind for the concert? A grin broke across her face. Ms. Thompson said she'd help us. We could organize a talent show too. With everyone from school. The idea poured out like music flowing from her guitar. Talent show? That's a brilliant idea, Lil. Let's put it on the list, Mark replied, feeling the weight on his shoulders ease ever so slightly. They spent the next hour crafting a plan, their kitchen table littered with notes, sketches, and half-finished drawings of a concert flyer. The room hummed with possibility, and for a moment, Mark let the worries about funding and logistics fade away. He was present. He saw the happiness in Lily's eyes, like little stars lighting up the darkness. As they progressed, Mark's phone buzzed again. It was a message from Kate. Hey. Looking forward to our chat. I've thought of some ideas for us to dive into. Talk soon. The anticipation bubbled inside him, the echo of what could be between them clashing with the doubts that threatened to drag him down. Dad, when is Ms. Thompson coming? Lily asked, snapping Mark back to the whirl of their plans. In a bit, but remember, we need to be ready to pitch our ideas, he said, running a hand through his hair. This is a big deal for your music program. The sound of the doorbell cut through the moment. Mark exchanged a glance with Lily, her excitement nearly palpable. As he opened the door, Ms. Thompson appeared, a bright smile on her face. She stepped inside, her presence warm and reassuring. Ready to make some magic happen? She asked, her enthusiasm igniting something in Mark. Yes. We were just brainstorming some ideas, Lily chimed in, practically bouncing on her heels. As they began discussing their plans, Mark felt a spark inside him, a reminder of why he fought so hard to keep his daughter's dreams alive. It wasn't just about music, it was about community, connection, and believing in something greater than oneself. But as the conversation shifted to the potential hurdles, the gym being double-booked, fundraisers that failed, the weight of reality pressed back into the room. This wouldn't be easy. They needed support, and that would mean facing some tough conversations with the school and the community. Mark glanced at his phone, the clock inching toward their agreed chat time with Kate. His heart raced, a mix of hope and fear swirling in his chest. Would he be able to share his vulnerabilities? Could he reach out to her beyond the professional realm? Then, just as he contemplated turning the conversation back to that place of connection, his phone pinged yet again. A message from Kate, I'm ready when you are. Let's chat about those exciting opportunities one mentioned. With a surge of both excitement and anxiety coursing through him, Mark knew he stood on the edge of something transformative. Would he take the leap and open his heart, risking the safety of his guarded world for a chance at something real? He inhaled deeply, feeling the air fill his lungs with the promise of new beginnings. Maybe today was the day that everything changed. The question echoed in his mind, could he embrace this opportunity, or would fear hold him back once again? Mark took a deep breath, steadying himself before he tapped the message from Kate open. He let the screen illuminate his face, momentarily pushing aside the noise of reality crashing in from every side. Okay, let's do this, he whispered to himself. Ms. Thompson, how do you feel about getting our plan together for the concert? He tried to sound upbeat, but the weight of the impending chat loomed heavily over him. I'm excited. Ms. Thompson responded, her enthusiasm brimming. We can do this, Mark. You just have to believe it'll work. Her words echoed in his mind, seated stubbornly next to his doubts. He knew he had to go for it with Kate. If he didn't, he might just miss out on something that could change everything. Lily, can you help me in the living room for a minute? Mark asked, looking for an escape from the heavy conversation and the growing knot of anxiety in his stomach. Sure. She replied, her spirits unwavering, and she dashed after him, her ponytail bobbing playfully as they walked. In the living room, surrounded by the remnants of yesterday's plans, a stray guitar pick, the crumpled notes, Mark sat on the couch and glanced at Lily, who flopped down beside him. Can I take a quick call? Work stuff, he said, knowing full well that he was about to enter unknown territory with Kate. Okay, Dad, I'll keep working on my song. She chirped, busying herself with her guitar. As he dialed Kate, his heart raced. A soft, confident voice answered, and Mark felt a rush of warmth. "Hey, Mark. I can't wait to hear your ideas." "Hi, Kate. Thanks for this." His voice wavered slightly, betraying his nerves. "So, I thought we could brainstorm how to get the community involved in this concert and talent show," he said, tentatively bouncing ideas off her. "I love that. A community talent show can really bring everyone together." "But I was thinking," as Kate's voice flowed through the phone, Mark became increasingly engrossed. It was easy to forget about his worries, easy to fall into the rhythm of their conversation. They bounced ideas off each other, and he allowed himself to imagine the concert becoming something extraordinary, larger than just a school event. Just as their conversation reached a high point, he heard a noise from the kitchen, a crash followed by Lily's startled yelp. Panic surged through him, cutting the joyous atmosphere like a knife. "I'm sorry, I need to go." "Lily," he stammered, ending the call abruptly. He rushed into the kitchen to find Lily kneeling beside a broken plate, her eyes wide with shock. "I'm sorry, Dad. I didn't mean to." "Hey, it's okay." Mark knelt beside her, catching a glimpse of disappointment on her face. "Accidents happen." He swept a few pieces aside, feeling a pit of frustration in his stomach, not at her, but at how quickly everything could shift. "I just wanted to impress you with a new song," she mumbled, her voice barely a whisper. "Sweetheart, you impress me every day. Let's clean this up together, then I want to hear what you've been working on." As he helped her gather the pieces, he was struck by the moment. Here was the real heart of his worries, this little girl, full of dreams and hopes, learning to navigate her own path. The phone buzzed again, pulling his attention. It was another message from Kate: "Let's meet soon to discuss this concert further." Mark looked at his daughter, her face lighting up, momentarily forgetting the mishap. He thought again about the possibility of connecting with Kate, of creating something meaningful, not just for Lily but for everyone. Then another message chimed, this time from his colleague. "Did you hear about the meeting this Friday? It could change everything." Mark's heart raced again, knowing he had to juggle these emotions. What if everything he wanted was just within reach? As he stood up, still holding the broken plate shards, Mark made a silent vow to embrace the challenges ahead. With Lily at his side and an open conversation with Kate lingering in his mind, he was on the brink of something big, but would he find the courage to act on these opportunities, or would fear seep back in, swallowing him whole once again? As Mark and Lily cleaned up the shards, a thought gnawed at him. The upcoming meeting on Friday loomed like a storm cloud in his mind. What if he fumbled it? What if everything he dreamed about slipped through his fingers just because he couldn't think on his feet? "Dad?" Lily broke through his spiral of anxiety. "Can I play my song for you now?" Her eagerness snapped him back to reality, reminding him that each moment mattered. "Of course, sweetie. I would love that." Lily plucked her guitar strings softly, her fingers dancing across the frets. The soothing notes floated through the air. The melody was a mix of sweet and hopeful, just like her. Each strum felt like a gentle nudge, steering him away from his racing thoughts. As she played, Mark couldn't help but feel a rush of pride swell in his chest. "Wow! That sounds amazing!" he exclaimed, leaning forward, captivated by her song's emotional depth. "Really?" she asked, her eyes bright with excitement. "Absolutely. You've got a gift, Lily," he said, sincerity spilling from every word. The way she blushed made Mark's heart swell. This was what mattered, the bond they shared amidst all the chaos swirling around them. As she finished, there was a small pause before she asked, "Do you think you'll see Ms. Thompson again soon? Will you talk about the concert more?" He nodded, thinking of Kate's enthusiasm echoing in his ears. "Yes, I will. We're going to work hard together to make something really special. It'll be a big chance for everyone." Lily's face lit up, but then her expression turned serious. "Dad, you're okay with this, right? Like working with Ms. Thompson? Of course, Lily. He hesitated as thoughts swirled. I just want to make sure it's the best it can be. But I know it's important to get the community involved. There's nothing wrong with wanting to help, she retorted, the seriousness in her tone surprising him. Just remember that you're amazing at it. Her words washed over him like sunlight breaking through clouds, easing his fears ever so slightly. Thanks, kiddo. That means a lot. Before they could continue, the phone buzzed again. Mark picked it up, half expecting another message from Kate when suddenly, it was a call from his boss James. The urgency in the ringtone startled him. What could this be about? Is everything okay? Lily asked quietly, sensing his change in demeanor. Let us find out. He answered the call. Mark. Good you picked up. I need to talk to you about the meeting on Friday. Something important has come up. James' voice was tight and a hint of pressure filled the air. Mark glanced at Lily. I'm here. His heart raced again. What's this about? He prodded, while his stomach churned with anticipation. Just meet me there an hour early. Trust me, you'll want to hear this. The line went dead, and Mark stood still, trying to process it all. Lily looked up at him, her expression curious yet anxious. Dad, what did he say? She pressed. I don't know, but it sounds big. Mark's head buzzed with excitement and fear. What revelation awaited him at that meeting? What opportunity could change everything for himself and Lily? As they shared a moment of silence, their eyes locked, both of them feeling the rush of the unknown. And then, a sudden thought shot through his mind, full of both dread and hope. What if this meeting led to something he could offer his daughter? Something that could change their futures forever? With every new message, every ringing phone, doors seemed to open. But were they the ones he was meant to walk through, or would he find himself standing still and paralyzed, waiting for the storm to pass? The clock ticked away in the quiet of their home, each second pressing heaviness into the air around them. Mark felt the weight of uncertainty and expectation closing in. Lily sensed it too, her fingers fidgeting with her guitar pick as she waited for him to respond. Dad, are you okay? She asked, her small voice slicing through the tension. Mark forced a smile, though it barely reached his eyes. I'm good. Just thinking a lot. His thoughts were scattered, zigzagging between the promise of opportunity and the fear of failure. Okay, she replied, still looking concerned. What's the worst that could happen? He chuckled lightly. Well, I could trip on the way to the stage, forget my lines, or you could shine, Dad. Lily's enthusiasm made his heart tug. Just like I do when I play. Her words were a lifeline, pulling him from the dark waters of his mind. Mark looked at her, taking in the brightness of her spirit, and realized that whatever happened at the meeting, he had to believe in himself just as she believed in him. Right, he breathed out. I'll remember that. Suddenly, a loud honk outside their window startled them both. Mark peeked through the curtain, spotting their neighbor, Mrs. Reynolds, waving enthusiastically from her car. She shouted something he couldn't catch over the sudden rush of adrenaline. Lily. Your friends are here for the play date. Lily's face lit up. Yay. I forgot. She jumped up, her earlier seriousness disappearing, replaced by uncontainable excitement. Can I go, Dad? Please. Of course. Just be back in time for dinner. Thanks, Dad. You're the best. Lily dashed out the door, her laughter echoing down the street. Mark watched her go, a warm feeling settling in his chest as he admired her carefree spirit. Yet, as the laughter faded, it was replaced by the gripping anxiety of the unknown future. He sank into the couch, running his fingers through his hair. He had to focus. What was James going to tell him? Would it change everything? A marketing push? A new collaboration? Or something more urgent, a problem threatening their project? The phone buzzed again, vibrating against the coffee table. Mark snatched it up, half hoping it would be news that would soothe his fears. Instead, it was another message from Kate. "Hey, Mark. Can you swing by the community center later? I have an idea about the concert that I want to discuss. It might be game-changing." Game-changing? As if his mind wasn't racing enough already. He quickly typed back, agreeing to meet after dinner. This could be the spark they needed. The collaboration with Kate pushed up his heart rate. Mark settled back into the couch, trying to organize his thoughts. Just a meeting. Just words exchanged. But he reminded himself of Lily's infectious optimism. Whatever happened to him, he had to remember his daughter's belief in him. It was time to step out of the shadows of his fear. A ring from the doorbell broke his focus. Mark opened the front door to find a swirling spring breeze and an envelope fluttering through his mailbox. He didn't recognize the handwriting immediately, but the company logo from the corner sent a shiver through him. With his heart in his throat, he tore it open, his eyes scanning the letter inside. "We are pleased to inform you." What was this? The stakes had just risen. He felt a whirlwind of emotion. Could this be the opportunity he wished for? Just then, a sudden hesitation gripped him. What if it was all too much? Lily, the meeting with James, the note. Mark leaned against the door, taking a deep breath, trying to ground himself. Sometimes the turn of events could change everything, and this felt like one of those moments. What awaited him at the community center later? Would it be a stepping stone or a misstep? The tension twisted inside him as he stared down the road, thoughts racing ahead, both excited and fearful. Maybe he was on the brink of a new chapter, or perhaps a disaster lurked in the shadows. It was all hanging in the balance, and nothing was guaranteed. But in that uncertainty, one thing was clear: tonight would be pivotal. As thoughts swirled like leaves in the wind, a new question resonated in his mind. Would he find the courage to embrace the changes ahead, or would he let the storm swallow him whole? Mark took a moment, letting the flutter of emotion from the letter simmer down. He closed the door, leaning against it for a heartbeat longer. The ache of his heart faded slightly, replaced by a burning curiosity. What did the letter mean? He turned away from the door, determined to shake off the uncertainty. Instead, he headed to the kitchen, pouring himself a glass of water. As he took a sip, the coolness traveled through him, offering a refreshing perspective. Maybe he needed to focus on the smaller things, the daily joys he could control, rather than the vast unknown that loomed ahead. He recalled the sound of Lily's laughter, that pure happiness that filled the house to the brim. Just watching her enjoyment earlier filled him with warmth. If he was going to take any leaps, he had to find that same courage, the spark she supported in him. Thoughts of Kate's message drifted back into his mind, settling beside the excitement stirred up by the letter. What game-changing idea could she have? With a sigh, he realized he was distracting himself. He reminded himself that uncertainty could also mean potential. Suddenly, a small noise caught his attention. It was a soft knocking coming from the side of the house. Mark frowned slightly, curious about what could be happening. Was it Mrs. Reynolds, perhaps needing help with her groceries? He stepped outside, the fresh air caressing his face. To his surprise, it was a group of teenagers from the neighborhood, with Lily right in the middle of them. A crowd of them piled into the yard, laughter escaping like bubbles as they set up an impromptu game of frisbee right there on the grass. "Hey, Dad! Look!" Lily called out, her voice a mixture of excitement and confidence. Mark smiled as he watched her run with abandon, the way her ponytail swayed like a flag behind her. She was shining, just like she said he could. Mark joined them, unable to resist the infectious spirit that poured from the teen gathering. As a frisbee sailed through the air towards him, he caught it with a clumsy grip and tossed it right back, laughter echoing in his chest. "Come on, Dad. You can throw better than that." One of the older kids yelled, and the competitive banter reignited something inside him. For a moment, he was reminded not just of how much he loved being a father but how laughter was a bridge to clarity and courage. They played for what felt like an eternity, each throw and cheer erasing the earlier uncertainty that had burgeoned. Each playful crash of laughter drove the shadows away, if only temporarily. As the sun dipped lower, Mark could see the glow of the streetlight starting to blink on. He gathered Lily and the kids with a call, ready to usher them back home. Okay, time for dinner. As they all groaned playfully at the abrupt end, a thought flashed through Mark's mind: what if tonight wasn't just pivotal for him? What if this moment of joy could shift everything for his daughter, too? Lily leaned against Mark as they stepped back inside. Did you have fun playing, Dad? You were awesome. Mark chuckled and pulled her close. I think I want to be the great dad you think I am. The words felt true, resonating in his chest. However, as they settled down for dinner, the questions returned in force. How was he going to hold the weight of this new chapter, this possible opportunity, this meeting later? And just as the thought crossed his mind, there was a knock on the door again. This time, it wasn't new inspiration from the universe or a casual neighbor. It was James standing on the porch, an authoritative gleam in his eye. Mind if I come in? We need to talk. Mark's heart raced as he exchanged glances with Lily. The shift in energy was palpable. Could this be the moment everything changed? With a nod, Mark stepped back. Of course, let us talk. And there it was, the air thick with possibility again, charged and ready to unfold. What would James reveal that night? Would Mark finally find the answers he was seeking, or would new uncertainties unravel? Mark held the door open, the nerves in his stomach twisting tighter. James stepped inside, his demeanor serious but not unfriendly. The moment felt like the calm before a storm. Let us head to the living room, Mark suggested, leading the way. He glanced back at Lily, who was still buzzing from their frisbee games, blissfully unaware of the weight that pressed down on him now. She tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, her smile brightening the room. As they settled into the couches, the laughter from earlier felt like a distant echo, replaced by the heavy silence of anticipation. James cleared his throat and leaned forward slightly, as if gravitating towards a truth he needed to share. Mark, I got your letter. I know things between us have been complicated, but I think this is important. His voice trailed off, surveying the room, gauging Mark's reaction. Mark's heart quickened. What did you want to talk about? I believe in our business, you know that. But I also think it's time for a change, something that could really elevate all of us. What do you mean? Mark asked, trying to keep the tremor out of his voice. James took a deep breath. I want to merge our company with the new tech partner I've been discussing. I know that sounds big, but it could open up a lot of opportunities, not just for the company but for its employees too, including you. Mark's mind raced as he processed the words. A merger? It sounded thrilling yet terrifying at the same time. The ripple effects could impact everyone he cared about: the community, his friends, and yes, even Lily. What about the people who depend on us? Mark countered. What will happen to their jobs? I understand your concerns. This isn't just about numbers and contracts. It's about securing the future for everyone, giving them room to grow. James's eyes lasered in on him. And that includes you and Lily. Mark felt a jolt of something. Was it hope or anxiety? Could this be the leap of faith he had been searching for? All the uncertainty surged within him, along with the desire to protect Lily's future. But how do you know it'll be better? He pressed. How can we trust this will lead to something good? James exhaled slowly. Nothing is guaranteed, Mark. You know that. But I've seen the potential. We can reshape our future together. I need you on this journey. It won't be easy, but we're in this as a family. Family. The word echoed in Mark's mind. He glanced at Lily, her eyebrows knitted in confusion, her innocence a stark contrast to the weight of the conversation. As silence wrapped around them, Mark realized that this conversation was merely the beginning. Once he stepped into this world of change, there would be no turning back. There were so many questions swirling about loyalty, success, and whether he was ready to embrace a path that might not just alter his life, but Lily's too. "Can I think it over?" Mark finally said, feeling the gravity of the decision before him. "Of course," James nodded, his expression softening slightly. "Just know that the door is open, and I believe in you." As Mark nodded, an unseen tension still hung in the air, the kind that comes before a storm. They would need to talk more, about so much more, including how Lily would fit into this unfolding narrative. When he finally turned to his daughter, he noticed a flicker of excitement in her eyes, mixed with the uncertainty of adulthood creeping in. This was not just Mark's decision, it could very well reshape her future too. Before he could say more, Lily asked, "Dad, is everything okay?" Her innocent inquiry brought him back to reality. Mark smiled, though it felt shaky. "Yeah, kiddo. Just some big ideas. But we'll figure it out together, right?" As the uncertainty hung like a shadow over them, Mark wondered what would unfold next. Could this segment of their lives truly bring the change he was hoping for? Before he could contemplate further, his phone buzzed. A message alert flashed on the screen, a group chat notification lit up. Curiosity danced inside him as he opened it, but what he saw next made his heart drop. A name he never expected to see joined the thread. Oh no, Mark realized this could shift everything again. What did this new message mean for their lives? Mark's heart raced as he looked down at the screen. The name leapt out like a beacon, causing his breath to hitch. It was the CEO of the tech partner, someone who had been a distant figure in meetings and conference calls, a semi-mythical presence that Mark never expected to connect with on a personal level. He was just a name before, but now, there it was, injecting itself into his family's life. "What is it, Dad?" Lily asked, her voice piercing through his thoughts. She leaned closer, narrowing her eyes at the screen, her curiosity piqued. "Just a message from work, it's nothing," he whispered, trying to play it cool while the tremors of anxiety coursed through him. He knew he wasn't fooling her. She recognized the weight of that name. Mark's instincts told him to ignore it, to put his phone down and shift the focus back to Lily, back to their afternoon of joking and playing. But there was a mounting pressure, an urge to decode the words that might reshape their future. James watched him carefully, the air thickening with allure and tension, like a grand story about to unravel. "You think it could be about the merger?" he asked, bringing an edge of hope to the conversation. Mark swallowed hard. "Yeah, it might be." He understood that now was not the time to shield her from reality. "If it's okay, I just want to take a quick look." He tapped the notification, heart thudding loudly in his chest. The message was succinct but carried weight. "Excited to join this family's group chat. Ready to help build a brighter future together. Let's chat soon. Alex." Mark's head spun. Was he supposed to feel flattered or afraid? "Did he just join our family group chat?" Lily asked, the awe in her voice plain. Mark chuckled nervously, trying to mask his worry. "You could say that." James leaned back, a satisfied smile forming. "This could be good, Mark. This might mean you're on the right path. The company is ready to invest deeply into the merge, or it could be a total disaster," Mark interrupted, fear creeping in again. He suddenly felt an overwhelming responsibility, not just to navigate his own career, but also to consider Lily's future in all of this. "Dad, what if he wants to meet us?" Lily's eyes sparkled with excitement and disbelief. She had always admired her father's work, a source of admiration and a strong bond between them. That would be so cool. Mark contemplated how this unexpected twist could change their dynamic. Could a CEO stepping into their lives indicate an opportunity? Or was it just a sign of future complications? He didn't want to shatter her enthusiasm, but reality bit hard at his heels. "I don't know, kiddo. It's possible. Just be prepared for anything, he said, the seriousness of his words sinking in. He caught James' gaze, which now glimmered with encouragement, as if he could see a path illuminated before them. As a heaviness returned, Mark felt the weight of the unknown ahead. Could he really navigate through this chaos, through both the merger and the challenge of bringing Lily along? The phone buzzed again, a new message flashing on the screen. Another part of this whirlwind had begun, and before he could process that possibility, another name joined the conversation, an old colleague of his with a complicated past that could easily complicate things even further. Oh no, he muttered again, dread settling into the pit of his stomach. Could the past rise to haunt him just when he thought he was grasping his future? Mark turned his gaze to Lily, whose smile was full of hope. But he knew the truth sometimes, hope came hand in hand with more challenges than anyone could ever predict. Would he be able to shield her from the storms of the past and hold on to the hope of the future? As the next message illuminated the screen, a sense of dread washed over him. This wasn't just about business anymore. It was about family, fate, and the choices that could change everything. What unforeseen complications loomed ahead, and could he truly face them? Mark stood in the dim light of the living room, the weight of uncertainty heavy on his shoulders. He glanced at Lily, who sat with a glow of excitement on her face, unaware of the storm swirling around them. The group chat had transformed into a tornado of messages, each ping a reminder of the suffocating pressure on his heart and mind. Kate, James, and now the unexpected appearance of Alex, the CEO, had converged in a way he could never have anticipated. He thought back to their first chat, where their casual conversations about Lily's concert had become a lifeline. A flicker of hope ignited within him. Maybe this was his moment, his chance to not just climb out of the grease and grit of life but to soar. Gathering his thoughts, he turned to Lily. "Hey, sweetie, you know Mrs. Thompson and I are working hard on that concert, right?" "Yeah. It's gonna be epic." She beamed, her enthusiasm infectious. Mark felt the weight of her innocence. "Well," he hesitated for a second, "there's something big happening with my work too. I gotta make sure it's all good for us." Her eyes sparkled. "You'll be amazing, Dad. Just like me with music." The conviction in her voice tightened something in his chest. Maybe she was right. He had to believe. He took a deep breath, letting that warmth fill him. "You're right, kiddo. I'll do my best." "Promise?" she asked, locking her gaze on him. "I promise." Mark felt the words sweep through him, grounding him amidst chaos. Just then, reality crashed down again as the group chat pings began anew. He glanced down at his phone, the messages from Kate buzzing with excitement about the concert plans and the looming meeting with Alex so pressing he could almost feel it pulse against his skin. It was time to step forward, into the unknown, with courage, with determination. Mark typed back. "I can meet later to discuss ideas for the concert." He hit send, feeling a rush of hope. "See? You're doing it," Lily chirped, her eyes gleaming. Teamwork. As evening approached, he and Lily prepared dinner together, a simple meal full of laughter and love. Mark watched her, remembering the joy she brought to him every day, a light in the confusion. She kept humming her new song, swaying as she chopped vegetables, her creativity spilling over like a fresh spring. The doorbell rang, breaking their kitchen serenity. It was Kate and James. "Ready to strategize?" Kate asked, her face a picture of enthusiasm. "Always," Mark replied, his heart racing. As they gathered around the table, the conversation quickly shifted from logistic planning to the overflow of possibilities. Ideas flew between them, a whirlwind of creativity igniting energy in the air. Mark marveled at how natural it felt to collaborate, to intertwine their visions. Together, they imagined fundraising strategies, partnerships, and how to pull the community in. Then, with excitement bubbling in his chest, Mark found himself discussing the merger with James, a concept that no longer felt daunting. "Imagine what we could achieve. We can use this momentum to amplify our success and build something bigger for our families," he declared, feeling that uncharted land ahead of him becoming less terrifying, and as night ebbed into stillness, the conversations dwindled. Finished plans lay scattered before them, blueprints for a concert and whispers of future collaborations forming a synergy filled with hope. Mark noticed Lily, who had nestled against the couch, her eyes drooping. "You did great," he whispered to her, tucking her in. "Thanks, Dad." "I believe," she murmured sleepily. As he laid his head down next to her, a revelation washed over him. It was not just about his work, the concert, or the merger anymore. It was about family, about trust, and vulnerability. He had spent too long hiding his fear but now felt ready to take calculated risks for himself and especially for Lily. When dawn broke, a sense of calm enveloped him. He rose early, feeling the crisp air fill his lungs as he stepped outside. No longer shackled by uncertainty, he welcomed the day. The phone buzzed, a message from Alex. "Waiting. Let us meet later." Excited to discuss ideas. With a smile, Mark found clarity. This wasn't just about business, it was about bridging connections, embracing transformation, and believing that corrugated paths could lead to an amazing destination. And as he walked back inside, he caught sight of Lily still peacefully sleeping, dreams nestled in her heart. "Today is the day," he whispered. The road ahead might twist and turn, but together, they navigated hand in hand, ready to inspire and uplift one another. The sun rose high, illuminating their world with warm, promising light. Mark knew that change was daunting, but it hadn't been about facing the storm alone anymore. It was about pulling together, reaching out, believing in the strength of community, family, and the life-changing magic that came when one chose to accept help. As he prepared to enter the next phase of his journey, Mark felt an unwavering conviction. They were all connected, united in their dreams and aspirations. No more hesitation. No more running away. This was growth, this was hope, this was a new beginning, and a slight tremble of joy coursed through him as he decided, enough was enough. He had taken the leap, and with it, his family's future could truly shine. Now that you've reached the end of this incredible journey, I need you to act. You need to subscribe now to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that will touch your heart. Hit that like button right now to feed the algorithm and help spread this powerful message. I want to hear your reactions and feelings about the ending. Comment below with what this story meant to you. Don't wait not even one more second. Share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us build a community of support together.